Hi guys, it's Katie here with Helmar Live. Tonight we're going to be making some fall cards and we're going to be using several Helmar glues. If you can see my array of glues, look, let me, just like I'm Vanna White, I'm going to show you them all. I'm going to be using the Craft and Hobby PVA glue. I'm going to be using the Premium Craft Glue, the 450 Quick Dry Adhesive, my Helmar Quick Fix adhesive, and some Zap Dots. Quick cards, lots of glue. Great ways to learn how to use different kinds of glue. Hi Beth! I do rock the Helmar. Can you see me do my little rock the Helmar dance right here? There we go. Maybe that's what I need to do to stress. I need to dance. So tonight we're going to work on fall cards. Fall, I love fall in Maine. It means Halloween, it means changing of the seasons for lovely colored trees. Maple trees have great color. Apple picking, we did apple picking last weekend. It also means, to me, Thanksgiving. So there are lots of things going on in my fall world. And I'm going to start with the first one that I stated for you guys, which is a Halloween card. It's a simple card. And I thought I might use some fire for you all tonight, but I almost burnt my hand off trying to do what I was going to do. So instead we're using some distress glue. So let's start with, let's just say when I think of fall and Halloween, I always think of ghosts and scary things because we want, no fire. It would not be safe. It was not pretty. It did not smell good. Ghosts and scary things. My family is all about vampires and ghosts and things like that. And when we decorate for Halloween, you're bound to find a ghost in our house somewhere. So I decided to make a ghost card. And to do that, I raided my daughter's sponges from her injuries from her car accident. She had tons of stuff left over, and I decided, might as well get the best use out of it. So I'm using gauze. You can use any kind of gauze. The gauze that's found for like little Band-Aids and things like that that you use, and gauze wraps. I hope we're having a Halloween party this year. It's kind of hard trying to plan that around a toddler that is never-ending moving. But I'm hoping to. So this is a major thing for this card. This is what we're wrapping our card in, and I mean wrapping our card. So for this card, I have some leftover white cardstock, which is a Basil white smooth cardstock. I have some fab scraps and some distress ink and some leftover color block letters that I'll be using on it. So to create this card, all of my card bases tonight are going to be 4.5 by 6. So I want to cut this out first. I'm pulling out my Fiskars cutter, my most portable one, and I'm cutting this 4.5 inches wide. And it's already the 12 inches wide because that's how I had cut it before when I used it on a different project. So to do this, I then score my card in the middle. In this one, I really do want the 4.5 inches to be the wide because I want to wrap the card, and if I turned it this way, I really couldn't wrap it. So I'm going to score it at the 6-inch mark and fold it, and that wasn't quite right, so I need to trim that a little bit more. Fall is in full swing here too. I think it got down to like 38 degrees last night. It was chilly, and my husband is refusing to put the heat on. It's too early. It's not October yet. So here's my white cardstock base. This is a white on white card when you're making a ghost. So I took some gauze. You see my gauze. I'm going to unfold it nice and easy. And when I mess up, you mean? Sure. And I'm unwrapping it and I'm folding it in half. None of this has to be perfect. I do kind of want the seams to be together like that. I'm going to do a few of them. I already have some prepped, so I don't have to do all that many. So now there's rolls of gauze, and the rolls of gauze, would, if you have some of that sticking around your house, would work really great with this too. Folding some more. I'm going to do one more for you. I might need more later, but I'll just whip it off the other card I had started for my example. Now this is a quick and easy card, and that's really what I'm doing with you tonight is quick and easy cards. They're all made out of scraps, things that were left over. I really do like to use scraps with my cards because I feel like I haven't wasted paper. So I'm using the Tim Holtz Distressing Vintage Photo, and I'm going to just run my edges, see, along, and give the edges a bit of color, but not too much. It doesn't have to be neat. We just want to be able to see a little bit of the layering when we put this on my card. Now, the fire, I wanted to burn the edges of the gauze, and it really had a cool effect, but I wasn't quick enough to put the fire out, and I'm pretty sure if I was trying to teach that, I might have burnt my house down. I really didn't think that would be a good example for all of you. Hey there! So I've taken my gauze and I've edged it with the Vintage Photo Distress ink, and I'm going to pull out a few more that I've done on my example. I've done some more. All this lovely gauze, putting it to good use, not just sitting in my closet anymore. So at this point, I'm going to take some Helmar glue. I'm taking my Craft and Hobby PVA glue. It dries clear and actually dries pretty fast. And I'm going to spread this on my card. So just taking the tip and putting it on my card. I want you to be able to see me. Just do it. There we go. Open it all the way. And I'm just spreading it quickly. And now I'm going to add my gauze. One layer at a time. I'm starting at the top. Now I only glued the front because the front is all I need to have glued because it will stick. So I'm going to overlap the top of it and just wrap my gauze around. So if I need a little more glue, I'll just add a little more glue. And keep going around and around. As you're doing it, keep adding it with the sponge, the glue, and it will stick wonderfully. So I think I'm going to start on this side this time and press it into the glue a little bit. Wrap it around. And then I'm going to add a little more glue here. And see how that's adding some nice layers, some nice texture. I'm going to add a little more glue here. Spread it out. Leave a little on my sponge so I can use it to wrap. One more layer at the bottom. There we go. I'm just going to tap it at the bottom so it sticks. So I don't know if you can see all the different layering on this right now. I'm just going to take a little bit of the glue and finish off my edges. Putting it right on my sponge, spreading it out using my fingers, getting a little messy. Now the glue adding to the gauze like this will help give it a little bit of stiffness. It won't be tacky when it dries. And I think I want to add one more layer up top. I'm going to fold this one over. Oh yeah, just like that. And I'm going to spread some more at the top. Oh, yep, that's much better. I'm just going to wrap it around like that and finish it off with some glue at the top. So if you have any edges you're concerned about coming undone, just tap a little bit of glue on it, smush it in, and it will hold. This glue will hold and it will look great later on too. So this is the start of our ghost. We really don't need much more for him. Can you see it coming together? So my little ghost needs eyes that stick out. So I'm going to pull out my Fab Scraps. This is this fantastic container of black pearls. Can you see that? All different sizes. I want some really big eyes. So I took 2 big eyes, and I'm going to put them in the layers right up in the top. Let them peek out a little bit around there. Can you see? See what I'm going for right there? So I'm going to take my Filra 50 quick dry adhesive because it's a quick dry adhesive and I want it to dry fast. And I'm going to just put a little bit on each eye and tuck it in my layers that I created up top. So here's my little guy to start off with. I think I'm just going to put a Boo down at the bottom because he's scary, right? You know, and I can't remember where I might have ordered. I really don't know where I ordered it from, but it is fantastic and I use it all the time. It is awesome, isn't it? Now I just need one in every color. So I'm going to make sure that this closes. So I'm just going to pinch my top a little bit to make sure that it closes more. See, and it stands up nice and straight. And the inside just is the same. It's where I probably could double ghost the inside. Why don't I do that? Although he would be upside down, so if I opened him, why don't I ghost him at the top here? How cute is that? Ingenious. I amaze myself sometimes. Hey, little man. My little guy's trying to sneak in here. So I need to reopen my 450. Now remember, when you use your Helmar glues, you should close them each time. I'm not so hot at it, but I try really hard. So I'm going to add another eye there. And another eye there. So we have a ghost on the inside and the outside of that card. You're amazed too. Oh. You're appeasing me. So card. Love that. Okay. Now I'll add the Boo to the outside. Now I have these old Colorblock letters. I'm going to just punch out my Boo. Now, I have a tendency to like to leave the middles in on my letters. My family is forever asking me why, but I just really like to do it. I like the look of it. It's my thing. And I'm going to distress my letters. I think you guys have seen me do this before, where I just take a file from my basic gray kit and I just kind of sand them down a little bit, give them some texture, and see how that adds a bit of texture there. And some more. There we go. Pulling out my 450 once more because I want it to dry quickly. And I'm just going to do what I do with the eyes, which is put a dab on there and stick it right at the bottom. Boo. I think maybe I'll put another saying on the inside. How about boo to you? I dropped my other O's, so let's get that. And a T. And how about a capital U with an exclamation point? Boo. And I forgot to sand these down, so I'll sand that once it dries a little bit, but sanding the two. U. And I just used an I or an L, depending on whether you took it from uppercase or lowercase, and I'll get one of the gems to finish off the exclamation point. More 450. Now, the 450 I love because it dries clear and it dries super, super duper fast. And if I have anything hanging over the edges, I can peel it off once it's all dry. My whatever I've stuck down, my embellishments or paper, will not peel up with it. Boo to you. I tucked those little things away somewhere, didn't I? Can anybody see the pearls that I just... Oh, they're underneath my ghost. There we go. It's so spooky. Thank you. I'm going to put another one of my gems. So, boo to you. And you know what's great about this too? Is your kids could make this. They can make it and give it to a friend. Or when I first started doing it and testing it out, I tested it on a very narrow card and it looked really great. So you could make like little gift tags with this, or nameplates for a place setting for a party, or anything like that. So I'm going to let that dry now. And I don't think Cassandra will want to wrap her injuries with this, do you? I'm going to tuck these things away. So Halloween was one of my first things I said about fall. The other thing that I love about fall is fall colors. The leaves changing colors. You've got browns and greens and oranges and yellows. And one of my favorite colors to see, yeah, perfect treats for your nieces and nephews. You could even do the top of like a candy bag like that. It would look really cute. So my favorite fall leaf color is orange, and it's just a universal fall color. I think everybody will agree. Cheesecloth is perfect for it too, and that picks up the ink color really, really well. If you decide to use fire to do the edges, don't tell them I told you to do it. So let me show you guys. I actually have quite the stash of pattern paper and cardstock that I keep. And I always feel guilty cutting a new piece of cardstock or a new piece of paper to create cards. So this is my cardstock scraps. And you can't really tell, but it is done by color. I don't know if you can see see in there, but my blacks are together, my pinks are together, my whites are on the ends, my craft and my whites. So my craft paper's on one side, my whites on the other, because those are the two go-to card colors. I looked for my Googlies and I could not find them. So somebody must have taken them after I closed the daycare. I don't know if I donated them somewhere, but the Googlies would be perfect for it. So in my pattern paper is just stored in, you know, one of the, I forget what they're called. It's a 12 by 12 container. It goes in another container. Now for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. But this is all my extra pattern paper. Here. I'm going to show you right here. That doesn't look like pattern paper, does it? That's the back side of it. All my pattern paper, and it used to be that I had this kind of coordinated, so coordinating colors went together. Not so much anymore. So that's what I play with when I make cards. Yes, a cropper hopper. Thank you, Leslie, very much. So we're moving on to orange, my fall favorite color. And it's actually one of my husband's favorite colors. And to do my card for this, I'm using some scraps. And I did draw out a little sketch in my mind on what I wanted to do for a card. It just came to me the other day when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I tend to leave sticky notes around with sayings and sketches when I come up with what I think is a brilliant idea, which I did for this one. So this is my sketch for this card. I have notes on it that say Halloween and bigger banners, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do bigger banners for you. So I pulled out these papers, cream colored, orange, and I wanted to go, I thought cream, orange, and craft would be great for this. Great fall card. And we'll do the banners. But I'm going to show you a cute way to make banner cards without having to have a die cut, and that's by using a square cut. So I'm going to pull out my cutter, and we're going to start with the base of my card. So this right now is a cream colored piece of leftover cardstock. Let's see what size it is. I thought it was a 12, but it's not. It's 11. So we'll do a 4.5 by 5.5 card. I can handle that. So I'm measuring 4.5. That was 11. So now I need to just score it like I did the last one. And sometimes my cards do change sizes like that just based on what extra scraps I have. I'm going to score it at the 5.5 mark. Perfect. Now I want to background color for this, and oh, it's not, there we go, there it's focusing. And I decided that with these two orange papers that a craft background would look perfect. So this will, it just gives it a little bit of a pop. So I'm going to dig through my extra colors and find the right piece of craft cardstock. So I have some craft, and I'm going to cut that down to 4.25 by 5.25. And that just gives me a little bit of the white, the cream colored cardstock showing. Now when I create my cards, I like to do a lot of the card work first, and then I do the gluing. That way if I decide I don't like where I had it, I don't have to tear my card apart, because I know I've done it many a times. So I'm going to cut, I think this is the one I want 2 banners with, and I'm going to cut them, let's see 1.5 inches wide. So I'm taking my cardstock, I'm going to cut it 1.5 inches wide. And I'm going to cut it 4 inches long. And these are going to be my 2 end banners. Can you see that right there? My 2 end banners. So then I'm going to use this one as my middle banner, and I'm going to cut that the same width. I'm going to cut that 1.5 inches. I just want to see where my pattern is. I'm going to cut that 1.5 inches wide also. Tuck my stuff aside and cut that to be, this one I'm going to cut a little bit longer, another 1/2 inch, 4.5 inches long. So 4.5, 1.5 wide, 4.5 long. So it's going to be a little longer. So these are my banners. And to cut the edges, to show you how to do that, I'm going to use the corner punch. And I'm just going to place my paper on a corner. And I have a perfect banner. Going to do the same with the other 2. You see me doing this? Just placing that in there so the edges are perfectly there, perfectly aligned. And it helps me use up my Creative Memories punches that collect dust. There we go. So I'm placing these down. I want to get a visual for what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I like it like that one. And I'm going to pull out my Craft and PVA, Craft and Hobby PVA glue again, and I'm going to use that on the back of this card. So I'm going to move that aside and just put my PVA glue on the back of the cardstock, the Craft cardstock. And actually all my cardstock that I tend to use for the most part, the smooth is Basil. It is my favorite for scrapbooking. It's not what I use for stamping, but it is what I use for my scrapbook pages and for layering. I think I used it from the beginning, and I haven't changed that at all. So I'm just going to lay this down, make sure it's placed about even, and I'm just going to take my fingertips and run it along the edges, have it nice and smooth, and then you can see I've created the cream colored border by putting the cardstock in the middle. Now, I want my banners to flip out at the end, so all I do is take my fingers and curl it like that, like you might do some curling ribbon. So can you see how that curls? Gives it a little bit of dimension. Oh, I'll have to look at our big lots. Okay, so now we have those 3, and I'm going to glue down the 2 on the side, and I want them to be fairly even. Going back to my Craft and Hobby PVA. Now I don't want to put glue all the way down at the bottom of that because I do want the curl to set in. You know, I forgot there were cute owls on the other side of that cardstock. So I think that I'm going to flip this one over. See those cute owls? They're sideways, but it still works. So I'm just going to curl it in the opposite direction. You don't have a square punch? Oh, Carissa. I thought that was like what every crafter bought first. Okay, so I'm taking the extra glue that's on my sponge and spreading that on my banner that I flipped around. Yeah, I don't care that the owls are sideways. They look cute. Now, just a little thing to know about me is that I can hang something dead center on a wall, but everything I put on a scrapbook page or a card is crooked. So you're going to notice when you look at my things that something's always slightly wonky. Oh, see, now I'm not a big Copics girl. I think I own 2 because Cheryl gave them to me. Alright, so I want to add dimension on this one. I want to add a little bit of height. So I'm going to pull out my Helmar Zap Dots. They're 3D double adhesives, and I have a tendency to take them and cut them in half. I didn't want the really mini ones, but I do want the little bigger ones. I make them go a little bit further by just, the glare is on my camera. Sorry, there we go. I'm trying to get it so you don't have so much glare. Up that way? Alright, there we go. And I just cut them in half. You peel them off. So one side is, when you peel it off, is sticky already. And I'm going to place this on my banner. 3 down one side. 3 down the other. And on these, all you have to do is peel off the backs of them. And then they're double-sided foam 3D dots. Or squares in this case. Zap Dots. Perfect name, aren't they? So I'm trying to place that pretty central, and I'm sure, like I said before, I tend to be a little off. So there is my card base, and it doesn't need a lot more. I wanted to add a thankful sign or something like that. Where did I tuck them? I have these cute, and for the life of me, I want to say they're Cosmo Cricket, but I can't remember. And I liked the thankful, and I wanted to add it to the top. Can you see right there how that matches perfectly? It was like it was made for it. So today I am thankful for orange. The thickness of the Zap Dots is, goodness, it doesn't say. Cheryl, do you know the answer to that? I would say it's about 1/8 of an inch. So if you look, I don't know if you can see right there. You can see them. So there is my second card, my thankful card with orange and craft and orange. Wonderful things. Simply done. Moving on. Any questions? Adless ads. Oh, I didn't even think about that. All right, so now we have 2 cards done, and I have a third one for you tonight with one of my favorite things about the holidays, about fall is Thanksgiving. I love cooking Thanksgiving. I love having my family for Thanksgiving. I love that it's a time, although I feel like we should reflect every day on what we're grateful for. It's a time when we're forced to slow down and look at what is important to us. Because sometimes I don't think we take enough time to do that in our lives. So the next card I want to make is a grateful card. I did draw out a sketch for that one too. And I have a cute crepe paper trick for you guys with that one. I'm going to tuck some of my stuff aside. So for this card, I drew out this sketch. I don't know if you can see it. The clear ones are super thin. Here are my white zap dots. Can you see that? This one's a 1/2 inch and that one's a 1/4 inch. You can make them as thick as you want. There's also the clear zap dots. I would say those are a 1/16 of an inch wide. So they don't have any color, they're just clear acrylic. And I thought I had, no, I don't have any of the black ones. There used to be black ones. I thought Cheryl said that they weren't making the black ones anymore. So, moving on. Sorry, I'm a little ADHD tonight. So my grateful card. I drew out a sketch. I had an idea. I wanted to do texture. I wanted circles. So you can see my little notes that just say corrugated cardboard and yellow cardstock. Am I the only one that writes notes when you have an idea for a card? Please tell me I'm not the only one. So here I found some old basic gray paper and some lovely fall colors. There's green and yellow and brown, and it's double-sided, so I'm using both sides. I had some leftover corrugated cardboard that I'd used from another project, and some El Studio pennants, and some leftover yellow cardstock. You see how perfectly that matches? I was so happy to find that in my scraps. So going again with a 4.5 inch wide card. I know I'm boring tonight with that, but I want to be able to fit these all in the envelopes I have here. And that's what size envelopes I have. So 4.5 inches wide. Let's just double check that this is 12 inches long again. So when I score it, it is 12 inches. When I score it, I'm scoring it at the 6-inch line. I'm just tossing things on the table behind me, so I'm going to fold it at that mark. So I have my oblong card again. And for this one, I wanted to use the corrugated cardboard as the center. Oops, sorry, I'm a little too high now that I moved you all. So I'm going to cut that. I think I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off each side because I would like more of a yellow border to make the yellow paper pop when we add it on there. So the corrugated cardboard that I have actually cuts really well in my cutter. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut this 5.5. Make sure it's all lined up. Oh, maybe not this cutter. My other cutter then. I'll make it work. I think I usually cut this with my tonic, that's why. But all I'll do is both sides of it. So 5.5. There we go. And that cuts nice. And I'll trim that up. There we go. Slide that right off, and then I'm going to do that 4 inches wide. There we go, that cut. Just ran it through my cutter a couple of times. I think I usually do use my tonic when I'm cutting the corrugated cardboard. So I'm going to start there. And I'm going to add some circles here. So let's start. I'm going to start creating on this, and then I'll glue it on this when I'm ready to put it down. So I'm going to punch some circles, some big circles with, again, I pulled out my Creative Memory circle punch. I'm going very old school tonight, and I'm just going to punch 9 circles. It is easier if you put it on the table and do it. Where did I get the... I think I got that at Crafter's Outlet a long time ago. So I'm just going to rotate all of this back and forth. You're going to see me laying that out to have an idea. And I need 3 more. Now the idea behind doing these fun fall cards is to show you guys that cards can whip up really quick. They don't have to be overly complicated, but they can whip up quick and be super cute. So I cut the wrong size. Sugar. Well, I need to go back and cut some more. I wanted the 1.5 inch circles, not the 1 inch circles. So I'm just going to cut this out. Those circles might be good for another project. And I'm going to cut 3 more big circles. There we go. Perfect. I'm thinking I do want the smaller ones here. Sorry, I'm changing my mind. Because I want some of the bottom for something else. Okay. I'm sad about the Zap Dots, Carissa. Okay, now I'm going to glue these down. And because I'm using the corrugated cardboard, I'm going to use the premium craft glue. I find that I like that better with the corrugated cardboard. It's just my preference. It's a little thicker, a little meatier. And it still dries clear, and it still dries pretty fast. So some of these circles are going to overhang, and I'm going to clip them. So just putting the premium craft glue on the back of my circles, just tapping them a little bit so they stick, and they're drying. Look at that, they're drying pretty fast, but not too fast that I can't slide my circles into a different position if I want them. And I have the last one here. So I'm just going to tap them all down to make sure my circles are all where I want them to be. I think they're pretty centered. And see how I can still move them slightly, but it's still tacky enough that they're not coming off, and they won't come off. So I'm going to show you a neat little trick with crepe paper in the premium craft glue. So I want to create a ruffle, but I didn't want ribbon. And I found this really great green crepe paper in my closet from when I had the daycare. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a line here. So the line of, I'm trying to do it so it's, oh, there we go. I'll do it upside down. I'll do the premium craft glue across the here. And I'm going to take my crepe paper in the middle across that line. So I'm just tacking it. So I want the line of glue to go in the middle of the crepe paper. And I'm just tapping it down. I want to make sure this looks a little even. And now I'm going to start scrunching it a little bit. Can you see me scrunching this as I'm doing that to give it some texture? Some ruffles. Goes along with the corrugated cardboard. So if it looks like it's going to pop back up, just tap it. It will go back down. I'm going to give it a second to dry. And I'm going to clip this end, so it's not all hanging off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my premium craft glue and I'm going to do another line of premium craft glue right above where I did before. I don't know if you can see the line for where it is, but it's still wet, so it still has that marking. And I'm going to now fold over my crepe paper to create a ruffle. So it looks layered. Can you see how that looks now? And that's without having to cut it all up and create two different layers. All I had to do was fold it over and stick it to that glue. I'm just going to scrunch a little bit to give it that ruffled look. And lift it up at the bottom. And that will all dry clear. What do you think? So at this point right now, my glue is dry enough for me to snip my backside. So I'm going to just go along and snip the backside where my ruffle is hanging over, where my circles are hanging over. And my scissors keep getting caught. I'm going to turn this over just so I can see where my ruffle is. I'm going to go back and do the back side of this. And some more. And turn it over to do my ribbon because I just want to be able to see the crepe paper ribbon. So I'm not cutting it up too much. Okay, so that's the middle of my card. And now I want to place my corrugated circle and crepe paper ribbon on my yellow cardstock. I did not say snip my backside. Might be what my dog thinks, but it's not what I said, dear. Okay, going back to my premium craft glue on the cardboard. And I'm just making sure I have it on my corners because the corrugated cardboard will try and curl up after time if you don't get your corners glued down really well. So I'm going to try and place it in the middle again. Again, the craft glue dries clear, so if you wind up having to move something over, that craft glue won't show if you slide over and a bit of it is there. Okay, so I want to fluff this up a little bit, which I can because the glue is going to hold the top of that in place. So I'm just lifting my fingers up underneath that. You can see it by creating the straight lines for that it didn't make it stick on the underneath, and it allows me to give it that volume that you would find in a ruffle. So I have these cute stamps that I bought at Marshall's today, believe it or not. They're Inkadoo stamps, and they're Happy Thanksgiving and Harvest of Plenty for November and Grateful. Love the Grateful stamp. That's really why I bought it. The whole set was only $3, so it was such a bargain. You guys are cracking me up. Creative Monkey. Can you make me a sign that says that? I'll wear it. Good night. Hope the little ones sleep tight. So let's see. I have my very messy stamping block. And I try and place my words on the lines so it's straight. I really won't be straight. I'm kind of giggling at myself because it's never straight. Nope, not straight. I think that's about as straight as I'm going to get it. And I have these cute pennants from Elle Studio. I bought them. Yes, it's recording. I found a whole bunch of them on clearance that I ordered last week, so I'm going to use this one because it's the one that will fit my Grateful stamp. But see how cute those are? And I'm just trimming along with my Cutterbee scissors. Super sharp. Be careful with them. Another pennant. I'm going to curl the ends on that one too. And I'm going to use some brown ink for this, I think, because we have the browns running through there, but it's not a color I pulled out, that I'm going to use brown ink. And I have the Memento Rich Cocoa, which is one of my favorites. I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to dab here. Now I'm going to do a test run on the back of my scrap of yellow, just to make sure that it stamps even before I put it on a card. Oh, that looks great. I love that. So let's try this again. I'm going to turn my ink pad over. I'm pretty sure Cheryl's the one who taught me how to do this. It helps me not get ink in places that it doesn't belong. So I'm going to use this. I'm tapping on this just to make it a little moist. And I'm going to place my stamp in the middle. Not perfectly done, but it'll do. So I think I'm going to put this right there. I want to use my scrap dots. Have you all used liquid scrap dots before? You want to stamp even on your block, drop it upside down on the table and lower the block onto the stamp. What a great tip. I'm going to try that next time. Thank you, Esther. Okay, so liquid scrap dots. These are fantastic. They allow you to create height on your projects without under your control is really what it is. So you can put it anywhere on your project and you just create height. So if you, I don't know if you can see me doing this, but I'm going to squeeze it out and do it like a Dairy Queen dollop. Can you see that? I'm having a hard time with my lighting. Oh, there we go. Whenever I do them, they always wind up looking like Dairy Queen dollops to me. So I'm going to do 3 of these, and I can control the height by how much I place on there. So I've got 3 of them. I'm going to tap this one down because I put a little bit too much on there. And I'm going to turn it over. And it's a liquid glue. So it's tacky and sticky, and you'll want to wash your hands after you've used it. And I'm going to place this right in the middle of my bottom, well, actually to the right of my bottom 3 circles. And I'm just going to tap this down slightly because I want some good height on this. And I'm going to turn this so you can see. Look at that. How fantastic is that? So I'm going to put that there, and I think I need to add some buttons to this. Buttons. Where's the buttons? A couple buttons on my circles. So I have this lovely glass of cute buttons. My girlfriend gave this glass to me for a holiday. And I stick the pretty buttons in here. Can you see this? All my pretty buttons and my pretty brads. I put them in here. So I'm not sure. Let's see what I have in here. There's some yellow ones. And the green one. The cool brown one. And I think I need a giant one. Feeling like I need a big one right there. Not big enough? Not sure that's big enough. So I have some new crepe paper buttons. I'm really not sure where I got these, but I really like them. And there's a big yellow one right here. So let's see. Well, that might be too yellow. So maybe I will go with the green right there. And I'll use some more of my scrap dots. And I'm going to put that on the back of my button. Again, wanting to create the same height as my tag. Oh, I like that. And how about I add some twine to my buttons that have holes in them? Twine, twine, twine. I know I have a whole roll of twine here. That is a good hint to do them very last. But my goal tonight is not to scrunch them anymore. It does take overnight for the scrap dots to cure. So if you are one that tends to put your hands all over your projects or squish them, then Chris is right, it is a good idea to do them last. So I'm just running some twine through my buttons. I do tend to moisten the tips of them when the ends of them get too frayed, just to get them through there. I'm going to clip the end of this one. I think the only glue that I pulled out that I have not used tonight is my Quick Fix adhesive. So goes to show that you can create a paper project without the tape runner, because there are so many other kinds of fantastic liquid glues that Helmar puts out. And I'm just going to clip the ends. And this one has a mind of its own tonight. It's really giving me a hard time. There we go. Alright. I'm tying this one off. You all are being very patient with me. Good night, Susan. Thanks for coming. I have one more button to cut up. Well, not to cut up, but to add the trim to. I've only seen Helmar in local scrapbooking stores. You just moisten the tip of that again to push it through. So happy you can't see me doing that. My house has been unbelievably quiet tonight. I guess when I get cranky, they will do what I want. Oh, this twine really is giving me a hard time tonight. Normally it doesn't. Let's try snipping it one more time. Snipping, not sniffing, Cheryl. Okay, there we go. I love that this twine is neutral and it's not brightly colored, which is why I tend to use it on cards with stuff that have brown in them. Just snipping the ends. There's no science to this for me at all. They're all different lengths. So I'm going to use the scrap dots again for this, but I'm actually not going to create a height. I find that when I use rounded buttons or I add texture to buttons, sometimes they're kind of shaky and wobbly. And if you use the scrap dots, it helps create an even surface for them. So I'm just putting it on the bottom, just giving a little bit. And my last one. Oh, I like how that came out. Uh-oh. No, I spoke too soon. And here is my last card. Thank you. I do like the twine a lot. I tend to use it quite a bit. I even use it on my scrapbook pages. Every now and then you'll see it on my multimedia pieces too. So here's my grateful card. So tonight I have brought you my idea of fall cards, starting with my Ghost, Boo, To You. It cracks me up. I can't help it. Again, I used the Craft and Hobby PVA glue to put all of my gauze down. And the glue that I used to put down my Boo and my eyes was the 450 Quick Dry adhesive. And this card is just good to go now. I can close this up and put it in an envelope and it's ready to go. It's dry. And my thankful card with my favorite oranges for the fall. This one was quick and easy. 3 banners. Used my corner punch to create the banners. To give it height, I used the zap dots. You can see the zap dots in there. Nice and easy. And for my last card, my grateful card, which is my last sign of fall, is chock full of the premium craft glue and the scrap dots. You remember that I used the premium craft glue to glue down the corrugated cardboard and my cute little ruffle ribbon, and the the scrap dots to give my sign some height and to give my buttons leverage so that they weren't looking wonky. You found the acid-free glue in the painting section at Hobby Lobby? I would never have thought of looking there. Well, guys, this is all I have for you tonight. Are there any questions? Thank you, Leslie. I had fun making them and making a mess. And so happy because I was so stressed out before now about doing it. There we go. My little collection of cards for you all. And my mess. Here, I'll give you guys a little hint on what my desk looks like now when I'm done. It's a mess. Oh, and my whole big thing of Helmar glues. Well, if that's it. Thank you, Esther. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow is the deadline for submitting your applications to the Helmar Education Team. So if you would like to teach classes like the Ustream class, or if you'd like to teach classes at your local scrapbooking stores and travel and do that for Helmar, you should apply. It's such a sweet gig. I love it. Lots of glue to play with, lots of Helmar glue. And as you saw tonight, there are many kinds of them, and they all have different purposes, and they all work fantastic. Isn't that I love that case for glue. Thank you. The instructions for the application are on Helmar's design team blog. That is Helmar. I think it's Helmar USA TypePad. Thank you, Cheryl. All right, guys, if you're all set and you don't have any questions for me, I'm going to sign off tonight. Thank you for joining me. And this is Katie with Helmar, and I will see you next time, which for me I think is October 9th. Have a good night. Thank you.